I am back today discussing the Fighting 22 LR. And if you're unfamiliar, I started a video series a few weeks back discussing the fighting handgun, the fighting rifle, the fighting shotgun, and now we're moving along to the Fighting 22, probably one of the most controversial topics of the whole video series. There's also going to be a few more videos, maybe even discussing a fighting bolt-action rifle and PCCs, so I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. What topic do you want covered next? But let's dig right into the Fighting 22. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is because not everybody can handle the full-size recoil impulse of a 9mm 223-556, and definitely not everybody can handle the recoil impulse of a 12-gauge shotgun. There are people who have arthritis or problems manipulating heavy springs inside some of those more popular cartridges for personal defense, and the 22 long rifle cartridge offers a lot of great things, and even things outside of recoil impulse like capacity, lightweight ammo, and bug out style and prepping style survival scenarios where fighting may occur. This is going to be a rundown of not only a lot of the platforms I recommend, but the ammo I recommend, because I've done extensive 22 long rifle defensive ammo testing on the channel. I started off weeding down a ton of different ammo into a few of my favorites, and those were going to be the Stinger and Velociter. In comes the brand new Federal Punch, offered to the market not long ago, and did a comparison test, and the Federal Punch and the CCI Stinger really were my favorites at the time. In comes CCI Uppercut, and we just completed the ammo test on that with really good results. In summary, for the ammo, there are 4 amazing types of ammo for defense depending on what you're doing, and they are the CCI Velociter, Stinger, Uppercut, as well as Federal Punch, and you can take a look at those videos, but there are some really good options for ammo now for defensive purposes, specifically designed for either small guns like this or full-size rifles, so your options are endless now. But as of just 5 or 6 years ago, you were really limited to a few different things like CCI Stinger and Velociter. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about some different platforms and different categories where you may need a Fighting 22, starting with probably one of the most basic categories, concealed carry. Now, the advent of the Ruger LCP2 Light Rack in 22 long rifle changed the game, in my opinion, for concealed carry in 22. 10-round capacity, lightweight design, safety, and a light rack slide with very nice extensions allows it to be slid into your pocket with ease, racked with ease, and function with ease because of the light recoil impulse. If you couldn't handle the recoil impulse of a 380 ACP or a Pocket 9 or even something like a Pocket 32, having a 22 is definitely better than nothing, especially with the advent of CCI Uppercut and Federal Punch. This allows you to carry 10 rounds for personal defense inside your pocket to defend your life against somebody coming up. And it also has a few different options like you see here with the threaded barrel options, allowing you to expand its capabilities even more as like a bug out gun or a prepping gun. You can stash this in a survival cache, put this in a prepping backpack, and I actually keep one in a get home bag in the trunk of my car, allowing me to have access to something and carry a ton of rounds. But we're kind of getting out of the purview of a pocket carry here. But this is going to be a great pocket carry option, and I can highly recommend it. This is also a great backpacking gun or hiking gun because you can easily stash it in your pocket and defend your life against not only some type of crazy post-apocalyptic scenario, but just a good varmint getter while you're on a hike if something were to stumble out of the trails and maybe have some type of rabies. I know it's kind of weird scenarios, but we are talking about a Fighting 22, and that would be a great option for that. Kind of moving along to the mid-size handguns, maybe for personal defense inside your car or home like a nightstand gun, we start looking at different things like the Kel-Tec P17, which is a great option, or the Taurus TX22 lineup. Now, they recently released the Taurus TX22 Compact with optics ready and pick rails up front, making this a great contender for a nightstand gun. Again, if you are ultra recoil sensitive and couldn't necessarily handle the full recoil impulse of a centerfire cartridge, this is a great option because you can add the light, the optic, and it's very easy to control and very easy to rack. The mags are super simple to swap out, and you can get a lot of potent ammo again for this style handgun. And if you wanted a little bit more capacity and a little bit more velocity, I would recommend the full-size TX22. Now, when I'm talking about a lot of these guns, I'm only naming the ones that I personally have thousands of rounds through. And I'm saying that correctly, thousands of rounds. I have about 3 examples of the Taurus TX22 and 2 currently in my collection without really any failures. These things just run and they run good, especially with full power ammo. If you do get a failure after 500 to 1,000 rounds, it's most likely because they're dirty and I never cleaned them. So I blast them with Gun Blast or some type of cleaner, put some oil on them, and they're good for another 1,000 rounds. Now, if I were truly relying on these as a personal defense handgun for a nightstand gun or a fighting 22, I would keep them meticulously clean, just like I do my own personal defense and nightstand guns. But these are great options, and they just work, both the full size and the compact. They also have competition models, again, out for this handgun, but we are getting outside the purview of a fighting 22, so I'm going to stick with something like the Taurus TX22s. Now, the Kel-Tec P17 is also a great option that kind of bridges the gap between the LCP22 and the TX22, but that is a great option as well. Now, the reason why I'm discussing this is because about 8 or 9 years ago, when I first started getting into really heavy reviewing 22s on the channel, there was definitely a lack of higher capacity 22s. A lot of them topped out at 10 rounds. Now, in comes some recent guns like the TX22 and a few others on the market that hold standard 15, 16, 17 rounds, even more. And those are going to be just a philosophy change and why I think having a 22 as a fighting 22 in 2024 is not out of the norm or not particularly crazy. Again, especially when you're considering other options with recoil sensitive shooters or people who want to take a bunch of ammo, which gets into the next thing, a bug out bag like we discussed earlier in the video. You can carry right here 150 rounds of 22 in your pocket and not even notice it. Try carrying 150 rounds of 9mm in your pocket. You're definitely going to notice it and it's going to weigh you down. Now, I may have exaggerated a little. You'll know you're going to be carrying 150 rounds, but you get the point. You can stock up on a ton of ammo for a bug out survival or just a get home scenario that you can't do with other calibers. You can also get a lot of defensive ammo that you can train with, test out, and see if your gun functions with it at affordable prices, and you're not going to go broke, so having training with your gun is also very important. Now, moving along to full-size rifles, probably one of the king of full-size 22s is going to be the M&P 1522 in my opinion. These guys work great, and I've had the Gen 1s, the Gen 2s, and the Gen 3s in a few different configurations. Now, the Gen 1 that I actually had about 20 to 30,000 rounds through, and the extractor broke. Smith replaced it free of cost and actually replaced all of the moving parts in the gun for free. And since then, it's had about another 30,000 rounds through it with no issues whatsoever, and it's still running great today. I've had about 20,000 rounds through some of the other 22s because I use these as night vision testing platforms, plinking platforms. I let people borrow them. I shoot them. They just work. They're lightweight, they're accurate, they're modular, and they also help you train for your full-size rifle. Now, in the theory that we're using these for a fighting 22 and we can't handle the recoil of a standard 22, I mean, dumping 25 rounds of CCI uppercut, velocitors, or stingers, center of mass, shot on top of shot is nothing to laugh at, and the M&P 1522 does this amazing. They also have their polymer M-LOK rails up at the front, which are lightweight and well balanced, again for backpacking in, carrying them around for long distance. And with those rail systems, it gives you a ton of modularity to use something like this Fotatu laser aiming module with a light and a laser built in, including an IR laser with a magnetic charging setting. So you get the light, you get the visible laser, and you get the IR for night vision applications. Night vision is another aspect of fighting with a 22, especially because you can suppress these, make them incredibly quiet, very quiet, and you have the capability of varmint hunting things at night and maybe, again, kind of a grid down scenario without alerting people that you're hunting in their area. So there's a lot of reasons why you would select a 22. And again, I know this was a slightly controversial video, but if you're looking for a full-size fighting 22 AR style, I would definitely recommend the M&P 1522. I haven't found anything that competes with it right now, in my opinion. If you're looking for a pocket carry, the Ruger LCP2 Light Rack, again, there's almost nothing to compete with it on the market. And for kind of a full or mid-size, I'm going to go with the Taurus TX22 or the Keltec P17. And if you're looking for a few different revolver options, Taurus makes a good 22 revolver, as well as Smith & Wesson. If you got $600-700 to spend, go with the Smith & Wesson 22s. They're great 8-shot revolvers, but if you want to save a little bit of money and go right around the $400 range, check out the Taurus 22 revolvers. I've got full video reviews on all of these on the channel, so you can go back and take a look, especially defensive ammo videos that we just did and released the uppercut a few days ago. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.